Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We are back again today with another match preview. They come around thick and fast in the Championship, and it's West Bromwich Albion versus Hull City, a 3 o'clock kickoff at the Hawthorns on Saturday. Another huge game for Albion, another big opportunity for 3 points, but yeah, things haven't looked too positive this season in terms of points, but you know the performances have been all right. So yeah, we're looking forward to this one. Of course, I'll be at the game, so I'll hopefully get a match day vlog out to you as well that same day. Fingers crossed. So yeah, looking forward to this one. First, before we crack on with the match preview, we'll of course be giving you a bit of an opposition insight, thoughts on Albion at the moment, of course. Predicted 11s for both sides and a cheeky little score prediction at the end. But yeah, before we crack on, make sure you comment your thoughts down below. Drop a prediction, predicted lineup, your thoughts ahead of the game. That would be great to hear. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're new. And yeah, let's get straight into this match preview. It's West Bromwich Albion versus Hull City. You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, match day vlogs, match reactions and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. So let's crack on with this match preview. Let's talk Hull City first, the opposition, the away team for this one. They're second in the EFL Championship. And yeah, they've had a really good start to the season, an unbeaten start to the season as such. 2 draws and 2 losses to begin their campaign, and 8 points on the board already. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's all I can really say about them. They've had a really good start. They've invested smartly in the transfer market, and they look a decent proposition this season. You know, I've seen a lot of on social media people touting them as a bit of a dark horse for the season, and you know I can't see too far past that, to be honest. You know, I can see that possibly coming true. You know, they're a decent team, and they've got some good investment in them, and they've brought in some decent new players, as I said. So, yeah, of course, draws against Burnley and Preston North End, but wins against Norwich and Bristol. Of course, Norwich not making the best start to the season that you'd probably like from their perspective, of course. But, you know, Hull, you know, surviving last season was a good achievement, but, you know, now they're starting to perhaps get a bit of investment, of course, new owners, maybe bring in, you know, a few players or so. And they've got a decent manager as well, who seems like he knows what he's doing. Shota Arveladze, of course, quite a famous, you know, attacking midfielder, I think, from what I've seen of him. Played for Ajax, got a good coaching history in Turkey, a Georgian player and manager as well. But, you know, I think, you know, a lot of down to him is some good recruitment so far. They've clearly worked on a lot of stuff, and you know, Hull City, you know, I remember them in the Premier League under Marco Silva playing, you know, buying lots of different players, Portugal and Turkey. And I think he's doing a little, you know, Arveladze is doing a pretty similar job. I don't know whether that's to do with the scouting team, but, you know, very similar players coming in. Let's have a little chat about those that have walked through the gates at the KCOM Stadium. Tobias Figueiredo coming in free from Forest. He looks like he's going to start most games. Ozan Tufan's the really shocking one for me. I mean, coming in from Fenerbahce, he was playing Premier League football for Watford and regularly last season. So I'm very surprised to see him in the Championship this season. A bit of a number 10, got plenty of caps for Turkey. I'm sure we'll meet up with Akaya Kuşlu at some point during their visit. But yeah, I thought you know, it's a really decent signing, very surprising signing that they've managed to get him in, and I think he'll do a decent job in that attacking midfield role. Although he wasn't great in the Premier League, I think he struggled to sort of get up to speed. I think, you know, the Championship could be a bit of a different margin for him, which will be good to see. Nathan Baxter coming back from Chelsea on loan. Of course, he was on loan at Hull City last season, and you know, he was linked with us for a little bit just after Sam Johnston left, and of course Bruce then decided to go with Alex Palmer and David Button for the season rather than buying a new goalkeeper. But I thought if we did buy a new goalkeeper, I thought that Baxter would probably be one of the highest on the list. John Michel Serry is a big one as well from Fulham for free. I mean, you know, a Championship midfielder, done really well. I remember the last time, you know, Fulham came down, he ended up going out on loan because he didn't want to play Championship football. So to get him in, you know, maybe not the physicality you want in a midfield in the Championship, but certainly the ball playing experience, the ball playing nous, and you know, just a good footballer, I think, is probably the best way to describe him. Oscar Estepinians looks a pretty decent prospect, of course, up front as well. Signed from Vitoria in Portugal as well. So yeah, they've got some decent players, and they've started the season really, really well. I mean, they look a really good proposition. They've got plenty of players that can damage a team, and yeah, I mean, what can we do? What can we say about them? I mean, they've got a decent team, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing how they play against us. Are they going to come out and play? Are they going to sit deep like other teams have at the Hawthorns and really try to cause problems? So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game, and I think certainly Hull look an interesting proposition for that. I think it's just going to be difficult to see how they set up. I think they might defend a little bit deeper. If so, I think they've got the defensive strength to fall back on in that situation. So, yeah, let's dive straight in with the predicted 11 for our opposition. This is just sort of based on what they've played over the season so far. Nathan Baxter, I think, is going to go in goal. I know that Matt Ingram has had a few starts so far this season, but I think that he's probably the better goalkeeper. 4 at the back with Louis Coyle at right back. Jacob Greaves, of course, sought after from the likes of, I think Middlesbrough are after him. I think a couple of teams looking at him, reportedly turned down a new contract offer. So him at centre-back. Tobias Figueiredo, of course, as I said, signed from Nottingham Forest. Callum Elder as well, left-back. He's been there for a while. Lee Wandays, I remember seeing him playing for them. Alfie Jones and Slater in front of the back 4. I can't pronounce this guy's name, but 2 wingers in Malik Wilkes and Sayed Damanesh, I think is how you say it, the right winger. And then in the 10 role, Tufan and then Estepinian up front. So yeah, they're looking pretty strong under Shota Arveladze. So looking forward to seeing how Hull set up and what sort of system they go with for the game. So yeah, drop me your thoughts on Hull below, because they seem to be a team on the up at the moment. As for Albion, we seem a team dejected of sort of any motion towards any promotion campaign. 22nd in the league at the moment, inside the relegation zone. Winless so far. Yeah, I mean, a draw versus Cardiff last time out as well. Yeah, pretty poor in that game. I mean, we'll discuss the thoughts about that now. It was so reminiscent of last season, I think, for what, that's the best way I can describe it. I look at the games and last season, and we weren't creating very much. And I know that during Valera and Ismail's reign, it was all about this striker. If we get this striker in, we can win the league. We can go up. But I'm still thinking that this season, but in that game against Cardiff, I'm actually starting to think that there's a bit more to it. It looked flat, difficult to break down. Cardiff, of course, very organised side, but I couldn't believe how little we created. I mean, a striker would help in converting some of the chances that we could create, but that performance that we showed against Cardiff that's not a team crying out for a striker. That's a team crying out for a bit of inventiveness in the final third. And I thought we had that with Jed Wallace, John Swift playing towards the left-hand side as well. I'm not a fan of that at all. That sort of performance doesn't get you goals in this division. And I think that, some hard truths needed to be told at the end of that game, because that was poor. Steve Bruce I'm sure would be pretty upset with that, because, that striker isn't a strike. That game isn't a striker away from being fixed. A performance that isn't a striker away from being fixed, in my opinion. I think the other games, definitely a striker would have won us each of those probably 3 games. But the one against Cardiff was a little bit of a worrying sign. Falling back into those sort of lulls of last season. I think that did start to worry me a little bit. Worryingly, on the striker situation, there's no real list for the striker according to Steve Bruce, and this infuriated me a little bit, because we know that last season there was real need for a major rebuild. Steve Bruce had said, "I want a major rebuild in the squad," and here we come. We got the new season, and now we've ran out of players to look at. I think that's baffling. Liam Delap snubbed us and went to Stoke instead. It's a really difficult situation. I get that, but the fact that we don't have a plan B or a different option in the striker department really is infuriating. So yeah, disappointing to see that, and yeah, I'm sure it's disappointing for a lot of Albion fans, because striker would really do us some justice, and over those first 3 games as well would do us a lot of give us a lot of help. But if the club's ran out of ideas, it's a really tricky situation to be in. So yeah, I don't really know what to say on that, but it's a really difficult situation. Here's a predicted 11 for Saturday's game for Albion. David Button in goal. I'd like to see Taylor Gardner-Hickman come in at right back. I think he looked really frustrated at the Cardiff game. I've seen a few tweets about it, how he seemed really upset, and the fact that he's bringing on Adam Reach in front of him. I think that's baffling for me. I think that's really baffling. I think he should be starting the odd game for sure. Coming in at right back for Furlong, who for me doesn't offer too much going forward. Centre-back pairing of Doro O'Shea and Shemi Ajayi, Connor Townsend left-back, Akaya Kujlu and Jason Malumbi in midfield, with sort of three behind the striker of Jed Wallace, John Swift and Grady Dean Garner, and then Carlan Grant up front, and that's your lineup. Score prediction, I'm going to go for 0-0 again. I think that the issues won't be solved until, we do have that striker, but even then, does that really solve all the issues? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below as to who you think's going to score, who's going to win the game, and who you want to see line up. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. But that does bring us to the end of this match preview. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.